Okay, I'm also so happy that Yoga Maya came and mystical. Okay, today's going to be a special class because I came in today at 2:00 in the morning. So I just gave a class before this at 3:30. I have another class. So it's not going to be the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, but it's going to be a very interesting story, which I'll tell everybody here. You'll be amazed by this story. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chaksuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, greetings from Vrindavan, and this is my home, my place. And because of the jet lag, I couldn't really prepare the class, but I had such an interesting experience that I definitely can share that with everyone here. So we'll start with my trip. I take economy. I'm still healthy. I'm very resilient. And because I don't really need it mentally or physically, I can't see, another couple of $1,000, for a better seat. What? I'm not making comment. No. Okay. So, but somehow or other, because I was going 20 hours to Moscow, I thought, now, this makes sense. I'm going to an intense preaching thing. I have to be at my best. So I asked some of you, and you chipped in, and it came so much by the time we shut it off, I had enough that someone else bumped me up to like a higher class. This very thing. So I'm in more luxury than I ever had. And I'm in that abhiman, that self-conception, kind of scorning back at the cattle car as the people pass me. And I'm joking. But at the same time, it was like so easy. It was just, what? No, this is to India this time, excuse me. Coming to India. I got an upgrade to Moscow Premium Economy, then got an upgrade here. It was just coincidence. So I was coming out, and I'm going to live here, and then I had this thought in my mind that came to me. I said, everything in America works. I don't have a backup here. I know it's going to happen. Yeah, the electricity goes off. There was no electricity today. So there's no air conditioning, there's no fan. The people, the thing, I don't know. I got, in America, no one knows who I am, where I am. Jack fills the refrigerator with what I need. It's like, it's so easy, so I'm thinking, okay. So I had this like a little bit of attitude. And it's really easy because then when I come out, you're in the front of the plane. So you get right to the immigration. You don't have to wait on those long, torturous lines. You don't have to wait on those long lines getting into your thing and then trying to figure out where you put your overhead luggage and if there's a space. This was anxiety as much as it possibly can. It was anxiety-free travel, and I'm moving, and then also, this is my 48th year here, so automatic, stamp a thing, I come in, I got the things, so I had this little consciousness here, and therefore usually when I come, the first thing I usually do is bathe, and it used to be the Dramuna and Al Radhakund, just to keep even keel with the place from where I was to here. And also it's different when you're visiting for a short time, when you're making a commitment to live here. Krishna ups the ante. Oh, you're here for my pleasure? Okay, let's see. So so I'm walking, and why don't we play the background music now? Dun 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 dun. And I'm wearing my finest Moscow clothes I got. I don't even know the polo shirt or whatever it is, and the pants. I got the baseball cap, and I'm the American businessman coming to India. You just stamp me and serve me. Subtly, I catch myself. So I get to the counter, and they're looking at my thing, and then they look up, and they said, your visa expired in June. I said, what do you mean my visa expired in June? I applied for it in India. I have a multiple entry visa. I applied for it for a year, and here it is. It expires 10/6/2024. They said, in our country, the month is the second number. So yours is expired. So I said, wait a second. I applied for a visa, right? And but I'm coming back on a new visa, right? I'm coming back on a new passport. So my passport is good. And I did it with that confidence that they just couldn't throw me away. So they called their supervisors. And two guys come. Two Indian officials, who I call, one is the Good Samaritan and the other is the Maha bureaucrat. So one is like trying to kind of help me, the other one is saying, let's see. So then they say, come with us. So they come and they sit me in this hall, and I look before me, and I see the desk, and it says deportation. So, yeah. So, and then they do it even worse. They say, wait here, we'll be right back. So I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting there, and then, because we all have realizations, but because I'm a writer, I mark my realizations. It's like, what was his name? He wrote the Seinfelds. Larry David, his name is. So actually, Vaisheshkar once sent me, how did he write the Seinfelds? He walked with a pen and paper in his pocket, and he just wrote down what happens in New York on an ordinary day, and that was the show. So that's my Monday morning greetings. I'm watching my mind for philosophical realization. So there's a flood of realizations coming. So the first one is, I'm writing my Monday morning greeting on this. The first one is waiting is the greatest surrender. Because surrender means you surrender. You put yourself under. And that's so hard because, we want to control. But when you're waiting, there's absolutely nothing you can control. At least when you're dealing with it, you have a little hope of something. So waiting is the greatest surrender. There's absolutely no control. So that was the first thing that got me. Like, this is okay. It's all in your hands, Krishna. There's nothing with my brilliance, samskaras, which we all have, our inclinations to control and say the right things, and emotional intelligence, everything else we train our whole life to be successful with. There's nothing we can do. Because you're here, I have to tell it. Yudhisthira is here. He's on our Monday morning greetings. And he was Tamal Krishna Maharaj's secretary for 20 years. 17 years. So I have to tell you one of the unknown Tamal Krishna stories. Somehow I'm in Hong Kong the same time he's in Hong Kong. And at that time, he was writing his Brahma Samhita. So we didn't have computers, so he had to carry all of his books with him. So he had so many books, he had to fly business class. He had to fly business class. Radha Krishna didn't get in business class. So in the Hong Kong airport, because it's a flight to India, everyone's trying to bring in more. And the Chinese are so strict. It's got the heaviest Chinese military lady waiting there with this little box measuring everything. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj comes with his things and explains, and she says heavy and she won't do it. She said, you have to speak to my supervisor. I said, get your supervisor. And I'm embarrassed. Because there's a whole long line of people. You know how you're on the end of a line, the line's not moving? And this Tamal Krishna Maharaj is wearing his dhoti and everything. And he's like, get your supervisor, right? So somehow or other, they said, okay, go in, right? So that same year, this is embarrassing, I'm going on Air France or something, I'm leaving the country. And I had too much stuff, right? I forgot it. And they said, you're overweight or something like that. I said, so I thought I'll do what Tamal Krishna Maharaj does. I'll just argue and keep the line waiting. And she said, you have to speak to our supervisor. I said, get your supervisor. They called the police. I had to give away half the stuff in I just didn't have his potency. You can imitate, you can only follow what I could. Okay. So anyway, so then, the next thing I thought is, okay, I have an upgrade ticket for the first time in my life. It's just coincidence, because what happened is when we did the upgrade, then someone who's a businessman, had money, asked, well, how much is first class? So then Champak asked him if, we were a little short on upgrading me, if he could pay the difference, and he did. Otherwise, I'm economy, just as long as I get an aisle seat. And, that's it. So then I realized, premium economy, business, you can't buy a ticket to Vrindavan. Your money, your ego, nothing. And then I thought that I've been coming for like 47, 48 years, coming for so many years, you kind of take it for granted, that, this is your place and things. And I'm just sitting there, and I said, he can only enter Vrindavan by Radharani's mercy. And she's very merciful. But, here it is. But then the good thing is I'm trained in Krishna consciousness. So I'm not going to freak out. One symptom of surrender is God will protect you. And protect you means God will do what is best. So I'm still holding out my ace in the, my ace in the back pocket. I have my plans. I'm still But I really fully, and I kind of fully understood that there's not the Indian bureaucracy. They're not deciding it in that office. Krishna's decided. I'm not oppressed by a government, right? So I'm not worried in the sense that it's not up to them, it's up to Krishna. He can let me in, he let me out, and he always has a plan. Just like Yogamaya was speaking to her, she went out. We were all both worried that she wouldn't come in. It's so delightful to have her here, for both me and you, and and I wanted her to be here, especially for you coming. It's so nice to have her here, and yeah. So I was kind of on the phone with her all the time, trying to figure out what to do because she left the country. And she's in Uzbekistan. They told her she can get a visa there. But that was for the Ukrainians who had no other place to go, and then Israel and this and that. And, we're trying to, trick this and say this and do this. But all the time, it was really, Krishna was stamping the passport or not. And, to have that kind of faith is the kind of faith we have to need at death. By living a life of surrender and seeing God in all the aspects of our life, having that faith and seeing, as the difficulties that came were only, to give us something else, right? There's a Persian saying, when God is digging a ditch to throw us in, he's actually making a well to quench our thirst. But we see, so even though you heard the class at 3:30, there's new things. So you feel, and you have that faith, so after so many years, I definitely had that faith that whatever Krishna does is best. That was on one side, but a little bit behind the surface, I was conniving and controlling the world and having A plan and B plan and C plan and D plan, but yeah, but and you're sitting there and wow. And when things go your way, you really start to think that you're the controller. When they appear to go your way, you really start to think that you're the controller. So here was a nice one. I said, I'm sitting there. I'm such a fool. I'm saying, wow, I'm really not in control. What is this? I'm a sannyasi. I'm a guru. I'm still not in control. Wait, when did this happen? Oh my God, when did this happen? I'm not in control. It's just, and it's kind of relishable on one sense to sit there and also to be equal in happiness and distress. I wasn't going to freak out one way or another, and then the next point I got, I'm going to write this week, is spiritual life becomes more intense in crisis. And I can feel a certain intensity in my thoughts and my chanting. Don't leave any space, don't space out. Your prayer has to be intense and sincere, so I just thought, yeah, we need these difficulties. We need these difficulties to intensify our spiritual practice. And again, the same thing happens. When everything's in our control or going our way, we start to think that we're the controllers. So anyway, I was like, really, wow, this is intense. I'm chanting intensely in my mind. And then some guy another guy comes, but he's not in the uniform, he's in a regular suit. And he comes over to me, and I have no idea what he says. And I get up and I get my Abhiman down. Look, there's a visa and this is this, and I was there, and I was thinking that my thing is there. And I thought they made a mistake, but actually it was my mistake. The whole time I thought they made a mistake. But it was there, and this, and it's so funny, because 10-6, and I applied for a year. So I was in the illusion that 10/6 was October 6th. It was June 10th. So it was June 10th, which is the expiry date. When I looked at the paper that I sent in and I saw the expiry date, was the date of my passport where the visa was in. So that was confusing also because my visa was in that. So I thought they used the wrong passport, not the one but actually I realized that I didn't have a new passport till I left the country, but I thought that'd be okay, they'd extend me, but I'll leave before my visa's up and come back. And add this year, apply for an extension as I do. So the guy comes back, and then the bureaucrat comes, the grumpy bureaucrat comes with the Good Samaritan. And this thing, come with us, you don't know where that means. And they said, we're allowing you entry. They said, you can come in on your tourist visa, because I have a 10-year tourist visa. But I thought if I go over to another visa, that one, in other words, I thought it was really nice. They were actually trying to get me into the country rather than kicking me out. But they said, but if you didn't have this tourist visa, you'd be out. And I'd have a really terrible deluxe flight on the way back. And I'm thinking I'd rather ride in a cattle car and, sleep next to the toilet if I could have gotten the country. But so they then they bring me to the front and then they say, okay, you can come in on a student, because your student visa is still valid, because they have a 10-year student visa. I never knew I could use that once I shifted to another visa. But they said that's still valid, and said you have 7 days to apply for your student visa. And they said that but you better not study any place, because you're not on a student visa. I don't study anyway, but anyway, you're not on a student visa. So I'm in an institute that gave me the visa. A friend of mine has a Sanskrit institute, so he gave me the visa. So he said, but don't study, but you can apply, and if they refuse you, then you just stay in your tourist visa, which is for 6 months. So, but then the next realization is rarity increases appreciation and taste. Because now, and Yogamaya will tell you this, when she's like in Uzbekistan, hers is worse because she has no place to go. She can't go to Israel because the airports are closed. She can't stay in Uzbekistan because of her visa. She can't go back to India, So but I saw that, I was going, oh my God, no, I come, get used to it. When you go on a short tour and you're in a little hotel and everybody's set up, and I'm coming here alone, I'll be at this, it's kind of, and, but I just saw now everything that I was got, my attitude is like, it's so rare, it's so valuable when things are rare. And I told this earlier this afternoon, like another story, that when I was 30 years ago, when we behind the Iron Curtain, the devotees, they couldn't get out. And I was in the Sringashetra for a big sacrifice on the Shringa Chaturdasi for the benefit of the Russian devotees. And they snuck a video out of this devotee called Sanat Kumar. They were incarcerated, they were in prison. So he said, so that the tape was like this, it said, I think the devotees are more serious than you devotees in the West. Because here, Krishna consciousness is very difficult to attain. And those things which are rare are difficult to achieve. So, so only in Vrindavan. And the flowers, the Vrindavan roses have so much fragrance, huh? Think I can go around the corner and get one of these in Brick, New Jersey? Huh? What? Outside the Bhakti Center, there's a few people making garlands. I always thought that the garland is one thing that even in New York, if we actually had a garland maker in New York, I mean, no one could get things like this. I probably can charge $100 a garland if it's special. What? I know. I know. Yeah. This was $3 here, but if you had something like this in New York, it'd be like $100, like a rose garland. So anyway, that was, and the last realization I had is everything is Krishna's mercy, because when I was coming in, so much more of a humble mood, so much more like a gratitude and appreciation, so even though it was apparently a trying circumstance, right? Yeah. But I have to say, I definitely was like equal in happiness and distress. I didn't, it's like, okay, this is what Krishna does. So glad to be back. Let me see anyway, this is kind of the class I could give considering technically I should be jet lagged, right? I got in at 2 in the morning, right? But one trick I really helps to not be jet lagged is drink a lot of water. That's like the main thing, so I made sure I bought a few bottles. I'll just share a little Brihad Bhagavatamrita, just a little something that, it's not Brihad Bhagavatamrita, but I'm doing the Shikshastakam. Yogamaya has another group with Bhakti, Shastra, Lila, Lasini, Akinchana, Mukunda.
He said that he's in a tour, so
Who?
Mukunda sent a message to me and requested to say that he's in a tour, and that's why he didn't join.
Okay, that's nice. Okay. There's a few people, and we're doing the 20th verse of the 20th chapter of Shikshastakam, of the Shikshastakam prayers. And I was just saying they're very similar, and I wanted to get the essence of it. And today I finally expressed the essence of this verse with an analogy. And the analogy is just as when you have, there's 3 things. There's thirst, there's humility. Because humility is when you're not the controller. And what can be more humiliating than not having water? You're thirsty, right? So with thirst comes humility, and it also comes taste. When you're thirsty, water tastes so good. So I said in the same way, the eagerness for bhakti is like a thirst. And therefore, it's a humility, because the eagerness is, I don't have this thing. But there's also a greater taste for it. So I said the only difference is when you have an eagerness for bhakti, when you're thirsty for water and you get water, then you're no longer thirsty. But when you're bhakti and you get bhakti, your thirst for bhakti increases, and therefore your humility increases, and your taste also increases. So the Shikshastakam prayers by Lord Chaitanya are this progression. Therefore, they're very, very similar, right? They're very, very similar. And it says, now again, Lord Chaitanya is humble. He's eager, his desire for service. And it culminates in the last verse, which is the ultimate humility. The ultimate humility. Your desire is so great that even when you're being mistreated, you still desire it. So Radharani, the friends are saying, why go to Krishna? You know, he's such a cheat, he treats you. And then she says, Ashli Shiva Padaratam Panastumam Madarshanam Mamahatam. You may make me brokenhearted by not being before me. You may crush me by your embrace. So it's the ultimate humility. It's the ultimate eagerness for Krishna. And it's the ultimate taste of association with Krishna. So we're studying the Shikshastakam verses from that platform. So this is my room. You'll see a little altar up there. Out the other side, these are my guests. And out the other side is what's called Radha Tila. This is where, out here, there's an ashram. Yeah. And they live as the sadhus lived thousands, hundreds of years ago. There's no electricity. And it's the place where Radharani would reciprocate with Vrindadevi, who her 60,000 parrots would arrange for the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. They were like the spies. And so Radharani would feed the birds there. So the sadhus of Vrindavan that live there, they feed the birds every day at about 2:00. They have like 100 pounds of millet, and all the birds in Vrindavan come out. And then when they all come down on the ground, and it's great, the green parrots are on one side and the crows are on the other side. And you actually see birds of the same feather flock together. You don't realize how much that is. And then they clap, and the birds just, and then they come back, and they come there. So I look out my window, so it's really settling in. I mean, I'm not, my sadhana is not, what it is. And then today, I had to do the person who deals with all he's helping constructing my ashram, and he holds all my money here. I trust him dearly. He'll do anything for me. He considers me like a father or a mentor, but he's a very learned person. So he came and I had to give him the money to help finish the construction. So he brought the Raj Bhog. So it's the middle of the day, there's no electricity, right? The Raj Bhog is incredible. It's all these elaborate, heavy subjis, but really tasty. The noon offering, yeah. And so I had a big plate of the Raj Bhog, and then I'm saying, okay, there's no electricity, there's no fan. What do I do now? You can't. And then I'm going to give class. But like I'm a sportsman, so you can make a plan. So I had my plan, I had my plan to take rest at a certain time, take bath. I took a little bit of a nap, so now I'll probably be up all night. So it's there. Okay, anyone have any reflections today? Jumunajaya, you can start if you're still here.
Hare Krishna Raj, it's so lovely to see you. Haribol, everyone. Thank you so much for taking us with you, Maharaj, to the Dham. You had me at the edge of my seat during that story, even though obviously you're in Vrindavan, but I was like, how is it going to end? And I ran over and I checked my visa immediately as you were telling the story. I was like, wait a minute, when does mine expire? But I just loved when you said, I'm not in control. When the heck did that happen? I can so relate to that because I walk around, it's like, wait a minute, I'm not in control. When the heck did that happen? So it's just a reminder, and thank you so much for taking us with you to the Dham.
Yeah,
Glad
my
you made
visa
it.
is actually extendable up until 5 years, but you have to have a passport. My passport is till 2034. I mean, but my previous passport expired on 10/6. That date, it expired. But it was good too to like, you know, you have to have that acceptance because one day you're going to die. So because I don't, nothing you can do. So it's good to practice like, okay, and then be grateful. I'm healthy, so okay. So I can't go to India. Some people are sick, some people are poor, some people are in wars, some people have terminal diseases, some people have horrible relationships.
Some people have all.
What?
Some people have all of this.
Some people have all. Okay. Gail, any questions, Gail?
No questions, but I do like a couple of the points that you have made in the past also. One is that when things are going your way, it's nice to be on the alert for that, because you can be lulled into thinking that you are the controller just because things are going your way, so
Right.
I like keeping on alert about that,
Yeah.
And the other point that I really appreciated, you've also said this in the past about the fact that, but it became even clearer today that, when you have a need for something, right, it does create that humility. But unlike in material matters, when in spiritual matters, when that need gets addressed, it only creates more need because there's more taste. And so the humility only increases because of that.
Yeah, it took me about 3 years to be able to say that clearly. Now,
Well, I guess that's why only today, it really sunk.
at least I try. Okay, anybody else say hello today?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Tota Gopinath here. So great to hear from you, and never dull moment. Oh my goodness.
Never dull moment, yeah. Good. Anybody
moment.
else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is Krishnamrita. Thank you so much. I'm so much impressed with this story and with your realizations. Thank you greatly.
Well, thank you. I just got your offering. It was very beautiful, Krishnamrita. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, I go say hello.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Lal Govinda.
Haribo.
Haribo, thank you. Glad you made it safe.
Okay, yeah. I was with our main man, Raghunath, today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he did all the construction. Yeah.
Great.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody else say hello? Great Vyasa Puja. But Raghunath told me after the dogs go, no more dogs. He already laid down the law.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
know. Yeah, definitely
Okay.
not.
Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Sivat, thank you so much for class. I'm glad you made it safe, and thanks for sharing your home.
Haribo.
Haribol.
Who else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. This is Kelly Becker.
Kelly, Haribo. Nice to see you at the party Saturday.
It was beautiful. I loved hearing everyone's
Homages? Nice.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't realize I'd be in tears the whole time. It was beautiful.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Okay, anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is Hemalata Radha.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. See you in Vrindavan.
So nice to see everyone there. Yoga Maya, you made it.
You know her?
No, but I feel look.
Speak in Spanish to our audience here. Adriana.
Hola, yo también soy de Colombia, entonces me tocó.
Hola Adriana, yo soy Gemalata, soy de Argentina.
De Argentina, sí.
Ay, me gusta mucho conocerlos.
Igualmente.
Okay. 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 You can see the pictures on the WhatsApp, and you can hear
Yeah,
the
I
class.
saw them, and what a beautiful art.
Oh, Priya
Amazing.
stole everyone's hearts. Unbelievable what she did. Unbelievable. Let me show my guests here. I had my birthday. This was by a 17-year-old girl. 17-year-old. She spent 200 hours on it. Isn't that something? Amazing, right?
250 hours.
250 hours? Okay, I'll show you one more thing here. This is her. Such a nice lady. Gail, she really stole the show, didn't she?
Oh, the show was hers, not yours, Maharaj.
Oh, I know. That was okay. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Shanakarishi Das.
Where are you now?
I'm in my truck. I got a background on that I can't figure out how to mess with while I'm driving. So
This is a trucker.
Hare Krishna.
He's got shaved head and a sika. Are you wearing a dhoti when you're driving, or?
No, I don't take it that far, but I'd like to. But I think it would get in the way of unloading.
Yeah, he brought his son to the Vyas Puja. Very nice man.
Oh, that's so great.
He used to be. Yeah.
I also want to apologize again for my little guy.
No. It's not. His kid was a little noisy, but he was there. He was good, and you got a lot of it, and you got the prasad, and you got to hear some of the things there. No, it's not a problem. I don't mind when the kids come, and we try, but it was a little. Sometimes it got out of.
We gotta go outside. Yeah.
He's actually in the truck now driving.
I know. I see the
He loves his job because he listens to tapes all day long. His name is Shonika Rishi. He used to be famous as the vegan trucker.
Yep.
There's all kinds of people up there. They all have nicknames. There was a guy called Banjo Mike. He got initiated by Vaisheshika Prabhu. There was Jujitsunath. this jujitsu teacher, right? He got initiated by someone. I think his name is Mukunda now. So they had all these people with these, and this is Raghunath's preaching from all walks of life, all different types of people. Bhakti Vinod. You met Bhakti Vinod, right? Okay. Yeah, I'd love to see you in your truck. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, it's Radharani.
Oh, Haribo. Glad to see you. Glad you can come for our program.
I had such a beautiful time. Thank you so much. It was so wonderful to see you.
Okay,
and the family.
Okay, good. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Javat Sundari. Yeah.
Oh,
thank you very much for the class.
Thank you. Okay, a few more and then we'll go. I'll just look at the names. Okay. All right, we'll end it.